Good morning, students. So today we are going to revise the next topic in chapter 3, human reproduction, and that is fertilization. Student, what happens when the ovum it is released from the ovary? It is captured by the infundibulum part of the oviduct, and finally this ovum it reaches the ampullary junction, and later it reach the site of fertilization, that is isthmus ampullary junction. So what happened? This ovum stay there for some time, and you know that during the process of copulation, the semen is released by the penis of the male into the vagina, and this process is known as insemination. Now the motile sperms they swim rapidly and they passed through the cervix and enter the uterus and finally reach the ampullary thymic junction. As you know that the ovum is also there. If there is a synchronous meeting between the sperm and the ovum in the fallopian tube, then fertilization takes place. But if the synchronous meeting is not there, then the fertilization cannot happen. So what happens if the fertilization takes place? Then this ovum it gets fertilized, it fused with the sperm and form the zygote. And this zygote later proceeds from the thymus ampullary junction towards the uterus of the female. So student, what is implantation? As you know that fertilization is the process of fusion of sperm with the ovum, and during fertilization the sperm it comes in contact with the zona pellucida layer of the ovum, and it induces changes in the zona pellucida membrane, and only one sperm can enter, and the entry of the additional sperms they are blocked by modification in this zona pellucida membrane. So in this way one sperm can fertilize the ovum, and the secretion that is present in the acrosome of the sperm it finally nutrify the acidic environment that is present in the female genital tract. In this way, the sperm it enters into the cytoplasm of the ovum and finally fuse with the nucleus of the ovum and form a diploid zygote. Now here in this picture, you can see so many sperms they are approaching the ovum, and this ovum is surrounded by a thick membrane known as zona pellucida beside its own plasma membrane, and cells of corona radiata that are also present outside this zona pellucida membrane. So many sperms they approaches this ovum, but the sperm that comes first it penetrates the zona pellucida membrane with the chemical secretion that is present in its acrosome, and in this way that sperm it enters into the cytoplasm of the ovum and comes in contact with the nucleus and fuse with the nucleus to form zygote. Whereas the rest of the sperms they are not allowed to enter into the zona pellucida membrane because humans are monospermic. So the sperm that comes first that only enters, and rest of the sperms they are prevented from and getting entry into the cytoplasm. So as you know the sperm has a very little viable period, so these sperms later degenerate. Now what happened? The fertilized ovum, which is now called the zygote, it moves from the thymus of the oviduct and undergoes so many mitotic divisions, which are known as cleavage divisions. The student, what is the special thing that these during this cleavage division, so many daughter cells are formed in this fertilized ovum, and that is called a zygote. So it becomes 2 cell, then 4 cell, then 18 cell, and then 16 cell. So all of these daughter cells, they are known as the blastomeres. The embryo with 8 to 16 blastomere is known as morula, and the embryo with 16 to 32 blastomeres, that is known as blastula, and with 32 and 64 blastomere, it is known as blastocyst. Now, this blastocyst, it moves further towards the uterus. The blastomeres in the blastocyst are arranged into an outer layer, called a trophoblast, and an inner group of cells that are attached with this a trophoblast called the inner cell mass. Now the trophoblast layer then gets attached with the endometrium, which is the innermost wall layer of the uterus, and the inner cell mass, it gets differentiated as the embryo. Okay, student, here you can see the picture of ovum, and so many sperms, they are reaching towards it. So this ova, it is surrounded by so many sperms, but the sperm that comes first, it penetrates the zona pellucida layer and fuses with the nucleus of the ova, and later they form the zygote. Yes, student, after attachment with the uterine cell, the uterine cell divides rapidly and covers the blastocyst. As a result, the blastocyst, it becomes embedded in the endometrium of the uterus, and this is called implantation, and later it leads to pregnancy. Okay, student, our next topic is pregnancy and embryonic development. So what happened after implantation? Finger-like projections appear on the trophoblast, and these are known as chronic villi. And these chronic villi, they surround the uterine tissue, and they are surrounded by the uterine tissue and the maternal blood vessels. Okay, here you can see the large view of the ovum. See the large nucleus of the ovum and the sperm that enters into it and fuses. Try to fuse with the nucleus of the ovum. So many corona radiata cells are present outside the zona pellucida membrane. So cytoplasm is there, nucleus is there, plasma membrane of the ovum is there, and then zona pellucida layer, which is a thick layer outside the plasma membrane of the ovum, surrounded by so many cells. These are known as cells of corona radiata. A student, this coronic villi and the uterine tissue, they are become interdigitated with each other, and jointly they form a structural and functional unit between the developing embryo known as fetus and the maternal body called placenta. This placenta facilitates the supply of oxygen and nutrients to the embryo, and also the removal of carbon dioxide and excretory waste product produced by the embryo. So this placenta is involved in to and fro movement between the fetus and the maternal body. Here, student, here you can see the enlarged view of the implantation of the blastocyst with the inner wall of the uterus known as endometrium. So it is very much visible to you. The blastocyst having an outer layer of cells known as a trophoblast, and with the help of this trophoblast, it attaches with the inner wall of the uterus called endometrium. And inside this blastocyst, so many mass of cells are present, and these mass of cells are known as the inner cell mass, which later differentiated into embryo, and so many embryonic layers such as epidermis, endodermis, and mesoderm. Ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm, they later appears from this embryonic mass. Sorry, I have said epidermis. It is not epidermis, it is ectoderm. Yes, student, the placenta is connected to the embryo through an umbilical cord, which helps in the transport of substances to and fro from them. Not only doing this function, this placenta also acts as an endocrine tissue and produces several hormones like human gonadotropins, chorionic gonadotropins, that is HCG, human placental lactogen, that is HPL, and estrogen, progesterone, etc. But what happens in the later phase of the pregnancy, a hormone called relaxin is also secreted by the ovary, and during pregnancy the levels of other hormones like estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine, and an increased several fold are increased several folds in the maternal blood. Okay, student, here I have shown you the process of ovulation up to implantation. So different days when the ovum get fertilized and zygote is formed, this zygote start doing mitotic divisions. They are collectively called cleavage divisions. So, and they move towards the uterus during day 1, and then during day 2, two cell stage of the embryo is there. Then 4 cell stage is there, and then 4 say 8 cell stage, then 8 to 16 cell stage, 16 to 32, and in the last day 7 they have blastocyst having 32 to 64 blastomeres, which are the daughter cells present inside. Some of the daughter cells of blastomere arrange themselves on periphery, they constitute the trophoblast layer, and some they are accumulated in the center and form the inner cell mass. Yes, student, immediately after implantation, the inner cell mass or embryo differentiates into an outer layer called ectoderm and an inner layer called endoderm. And between the ectoderm and endoderm, a middle layer is also formed later on, and that is mesoderm. So these three layers give rise to all tissues and organs in adult. The inner cell mass, it also contains special type of cells called stem cells, which are capable to form all tissues and organs. So in human beings, after 1 month of pregnancy, the embryo heart is formed. Okay, student, here I have again show you the diagram of the implantation. So the blastomeres are very much visible to you, and the last stage of embryo is called a blastocyst, having trophoblast layer and inner cell mass. And let this blastocyst, embedded itself inside the uterus, inner wall, endometrium, and this process is called implantation. Here the ovary is visible to you, and various stages of development of follicles are seen in the ovary. And the mature follicle, they release the ovum, and in this way the ovum, it reaches the thymus ampullary junction, where it met with sperms and fertilization takes place and formed it. It later forms zygote or the fertilized egg, and this zygote undergoes mitotic divisions called cleavage divisions. Yes, student, the first sign of the growing fetus may be noticed by listening to the heart sound carefully through the stethoscope. So by the end of the second month of pregnancy, the fetus develop limbs, that is both forelimbs and hind limbs along with the digits. So by the end of the 12 weeks, most of the major organ systems, they are formed in the fetus. The limbs, the external genital organs, all are well developed. The first movement of the fetus and appearance of the hairs on the head, they are usually observed during the 5th month. And by the end of the 24 weeks, the body is covered with fine hairs, eyelids, they get separate, and eyelashes, they are also formed. So by the end of the 9th month of pregnancy, the fetus is fully developed and is ready for delivery. Yes, student, here I have shown you the developing fetus, and it is attached with the placenta, which is the structural and functional unit between the mother and the fetus. And through this oxygen and nutrients, it enters into the fetus body from the mother body, and from this embryo, the carbon dioxide and excretory products, they comes into the mother body for its excretion. A student, the average duration of human pregnancy is about 9 months, and this period is called gestation period. And then vigorous contraction of the uterus at the end of the pregnancy causes expulsion and delivery of the fetus. Now this period of delivery of the fetus or childbirth, it is called parturition. So parturition is induced by a complex neuroendocrine mechanism, and the signals for this parturition, it originate from the fully developed fetus and the placenta, which induce mild uterine contractions, and this is called fetal ejection reflex. Now this triggers the release of the oxytocin hormone from the maternal pituitary. The stimulatory reflex between the uterine contractions and oxytocin secretion continues, result in stronger and stronger contraction of the uterus. So here you can see the process of parturition and its various stages, how there is a fully developed fetus, it is present inside the uterus, and the placenta is also attached with the fetus. Now there is a bag of the amniotic fluid known as amniotic sac. It is present at the top of the fetus. It first ruptures, and this amniotic fluid, it comes out before the delivery of the fetus. And after that, there is some torsion movements the fetus, it takes so many turns, and in this way the head of the fetus, it comes out through the uterus, and the placenta is also attached with the fetus. So when the fetus, it comes out later, the placenta, it also comes out with along with the fetus during delivery, and in this way the successful delivery of the fully developed fetus is formed, is, and later on an infant or a newborn child is. Yes, student, this leads to the expulsion of the baby out of the uterus through the birth canal, and the process is called parturition. And soon after the infant is delivered, the placenta is expelled out of the uterus. The mammary gland of the female, it also undergo differentiation during pregnancy and start producing milk towards the end of the process. And this period is known as lactation period. And this helps the mother in feeding the newborn child. The milk produced during the initial days of this lactation period is called colostrum. It is a yellow color milk which contains several antibodies, and these are absolutely essential to develop resistance to the newborn babies. Breastfeeding during the initial stage of infant growth is recommended by doctors for bringing up a healthy baby. So that's all in chapter 3, human reproduction. So we have revised the whole chapter. I'm quite hopeful that the chapter is clear to you. So please read the chapter once more, and if you have any doubts, send me your doubts. So that's all in today's lecture. Students, have a nice day. Tomorrow we will do the revision of next. Thank you.